Máirtín, we're standing in front of a lovely dresser here. Can you tell me a bit about it?
That dresser was built in, I think about 1988 or 89. Myself and my father, we built 8 or 9 of them, I think, all together. But this was the last one we built together. He died in 93. So when he'd go to a sawmill or somewhere, he'd see a piece of timber and he'd pick it up, and he said that'll do for such a thing in the dresser. And after a while, he'd have enough. And that's how he started making them. And then people saw them, and especially my sisters. I had 6 sisters, and they all wanted a dresser. So that's the way of the world, I suppose. But he was a good man at his job. Yeah, the dressers outlasted him anyway. Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of different timber in this dresser. This will be teak, and this is cedar here around the door. We bits of cedar here, and there's pine, and I don't know what else. The captain is red deal, but it's and even it was done in a bit of a hurry and not much attention to detail maybe, but that's the way we were. That's the way we work. We get the job done. Yeah.
And what was your father's name?
Jimmy Ó'Méalóid, or we used to call him Jimmy Nan after his mother. I come from Connemara. That's the way they name people down there. They name them after the father or the mother, but he was Jimmy Nan after his mother because his father was away in America for 19 years. So, yeah. And
you were born in Connemara?
Born in Connemara, yes. The first of our family, the first 3 were born in England. They were in England, and the war broke out, and they were going to take the kids off and bring them out the country, so they came home. That's how. And that's in the 30s. So I am the second youngest of, there was 11. Yeah. And there's 8 now. I think it's 8 that's left, is it? Yeah. 5 and 3, yeah.
But one thing that's striking is the designs, the little features in this dresser. I can spot the west of Ireland and some of them, like at the feet and the shoulder there. Yeah. The designs, who designed this dresser?
My father designed it, yeah. He designed them all. They had to be 5 foot wide for the 6 plates. That was a must with him. And those here, when the brown bread was baked, there'd be 5 or 6 cakes of brown bread there. When there'd be 8 or 9 in the house, they wouldn't last too long. Yeah. Yeah, we were hungry when we were youngsters. Yeah.
And he was born and bred in Connemara as well?
Yeah, born in Connemara, yeah. But he worked on the Shannon, and he worked with German engineers, and I think he picked up a bit of the trade with them and people who work in Northern Crusher when that was built. I don't know how long he was down there now, but he used to talk about, and he used to speak German words too when he'd be given out to us. He'd have a few German words for us, yeah.
And was that the first dresser he made?
No, this would be the last of about 8 that he made, that I saw him making. But he'd made them in Connemara before he left. We came here in 56. Himself and a fellow by the name of Mike Gibbons made it. Even the churns they used to make, there was nothing they couldn't do. Yeah, and very primitive tools, but good tradesmen. Yeah, and we had a churn here that he made in Connemara. They dug the timber up in the bog, the oak, and they cut it, and they made the churn, and many a pound of butter it made. But of course, time went by and it was left outside and it all fell apart. It was an awful pity, but that's the way. Then people got interested in the old stuff again, and that's when he started making these dressers. Yeah.
But he was making them back in the, probably would have been the 60s or?
But he'd made them in the 40s in Connemara, but not in the 60s. I'd say it was maybe late 70s when he started making them here. Yeah, I'd say late 70s. My sisters, a lot of them have these type of dressers. There's one in Tipperary and one in Mullingar and one in Kildalkey here, and sister up the road has one. And he wouldn't take him too long. He was,
And he made the dressers you're talking about for wedding presents, is that right?
yeah, more or less for wedding presents for his daughters. Yeah. And I'd made about 4 since he died, but the last one I made was year before last. I made it for my daughter who got married, which is around the corner there at the minute, because she's fixing up her house, you know. So she's putting, I tell her she had to put an extension on the house for the dresser. So that's what we tell her. Yeah.
So Jimmy made dressers in Connemara, and then when he came to Meath he made dressers for his own daughters.
Yes.
And the dressers that he made for his own daughters, are they surviving?
Oh yes, they're all surviving, yeah. Yeah, they're in different places, they still have them, yeah.
Are they similar to these, Máirtín?
Similar, very similar, yeah. The doors would have been different. The doors would be outside on the frame on some of them, you know. I put the doors on that, and I said I thought I'd change a little bit and let them into the frame, but that's the way.
And did he stick by that rule, the 6-plate rule?
Oh yeah, it had to be 5 foot across, minimum 5 feet across, or else it wasn't a dresser according to him. Yeah, that was the Bible with him. The 5 foot had to be 5 foot across. Yeah, he wouldn't make it otherwise. No.
And did you ever see any of his dressers out in Connemara? And him surviving?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did see a couple of them. Yeah, we had the dresser that I don't really make it or fix it up when we came up here, but of course it was left out as well, and of course there'd be much more design in the sides of it here and across the top. Probably had more time to be added at it. That's why the lovely design in it, when they take bits of the timber out with the chisel and that. Yeah. But, I didn't do that. No, I wouldn't have the patience. No, I would not. No.
And where did he make them, eh?
No, a shed out there, yeah. I have a garage out there, and have a few tools out there, not too many, but I make different things when the time comes. Somebody wants something, if they talk to me or design it, I'll make it for them, you know.
I noticed you didn't put any drawers in this one. Is that deliberate?
Yes, because I was told that the drawers are always full of trash, so that's the idea. No drawers, yeah. Yeah, and the one I made for my daughter, no drawers in it either, but I made ones with drawers in them. I did, yeah. Yeah, if people want them, if I'm making for somebody in particular, I put drawers in it if they want them. Yeah.
So here you are in County Meath making dressers in the Connemara style.
Connemara dressers, yeah.
And you've got a lovely little. You had a great name on them. What was it? The kippeen on the little lats.
Oh, these here, the kippeen for holding the plates. Yeah.
What did you call them again?
Kippeen the Blotty. And that's what my father used to call them. I don't know. I'm sure they have a name, but that's what he'd call them. And as you see, they're just held in by 2 pieces of timber both in, so that you just lift them up and they come out. Yeah.
And I noticed the one up here is fixed, is it?
Yeah, but if you pull that out in the middle, it pulls out the side. You can still take it out. Yeah. It bends that little bit. Yeah. I think that's pine. Yeah, that's a bit of pine that's in that. Yeah. This one, it turns around. This one doesn't, because it's a different setup. Yeah.
And tell me, how many dressers have you made?
I've made 4 so far, but I've been in order now to make a couple more anyway, if it happens. Getting the time to do it is. Yeah.
And there's one you've made inside of here for your own daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
And the other 3 were, who did you make them for?
For neighbours. Yeah, I made one for. They have a sale of work in the school there to collect money, and I made one for them. One time it was sold for 300. Yeah. Or I got 300 and probably sold for maybe 450 or something. I forget now, so long ago.
They're absolutely gorgeous. And you kept the little defeat in it.
Oh yeah, well that was the way my father had them designed, and I asked him about those feet, and they were for the balance, because in case the kids would be climbing up and that pull them down. So when you have the feet sticking out, it gives it better balance, harder to move it. But and I put carpet on the feet of that, and it leaves it easier to slide around the place, you know. Not too easy to move it now. I'd say it's there in a while.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll ask you, are there any things on that dresser there now that belong to your mother or your wife's people or anything like that there to bring back?
Those jugs at the top, I'm sure that they weren't ours.
The jug with the word on it.
Yes, this one here.
Yeah, that was, my mother gave it to me, and it belonged to her mother. So that's very.
That would have come from
Yeah.
Galway over here.
And there's a little cup here. Your mother gave that to Nora.
Nora,
our daughter. Yeah. So that's, and some of the rest are these fishes were wedding presents, and the willow was a present as well.
Yeah, and
this plate here is.
Yeah.
That was the commemoration when the people in Ráth Chairn were
70 years, is it, or 50 years or something?
Is there a date on it?
They brought out those.
They brought out the plate, these commemorative plates,
yeah.
And it's supposed to be a man on a bike, because when the people were moving up from Connemara, before when the scheme started, that so many people went on a cycle in 1934 up to Dáil Éireann to talk to the politicians.
Meath used to get the change up to the good land here. And my father was one of those who cycled, but by the time things had come to pass that they were moving them up Connemara, he had gone to England. And I suppose only for the war we'd be all Cockneys now, we'd be speaking with an English accent. But yeah, he worked on Waterloo Bridge, and while he was over there, and he was a ganger man on Waterloo Bridge by the time the war broke out. But he had to come home. They weren't prepared to give up the kids to someone else, because they were after losing a child through whooping cough. He'd been the third, and it was a boy. Thomas was his name, and he was 9 months. But he died anyway. He's in a place called Wimbledon, buried not too far away from where the tennis. So it wasn't easy for them to leave England after losing a child, you know. But they were good people, great people. Yeah, taught us well and prepared us for life well, I think.